begin this talk with hymn number 45 from Songs of Faith, called O Lord, in Thy Compassion, after O Jesus, I have promised, by J.E. Bode. O Lord, in Thy compassion. Sorry, I've got the wrong note there. Our call to follow duty within us ever fails, yet Thou art ever faithful to draw us to Thy side, and in Thy safe deliverance excuse me, my pilgrim vows attend. O Lord, in Thy compassion, look down upon our fears. Our call to follow duty within us ever fails, yet Thou art ever faithful to draw us to Thy side, and in Thy safe deliverance my pilgrim vows attend. O Lord, in Thy compassion, look down, we humbly beseech Thee. Grant our call to duty may draw us ever closer to Thee, and our pilgrim vows commend in faithfulness and in compassion, even in Thine own likeness. Hello again, this is Thomas Darwood making this impromptu talk on Saturday the 12th of November 2016. May I entitle this talk Joseph before Pharaoh, meaning myself before the Prime Minister, Theresa May. She may or may not give me this figure. Maybe, perhaps, or perhaps maybe. That's what initials MP stand for, or PM. Now, why should the Prime Minister listen to a nobody like me? Well, she won't treat me as a nobody because she won't be liked if she said that. But in the real sense, I am a nothing figure. I do not hold office of any description. I'm not a member of society, etc., etc. I've not held office of government, etc., etc. But I put it to her this: Prime Minister, you gave an inaugural speech at the Conservative Party conference where you advocated in your punchlines that a government for all the people, etc., etc. But I want to draw your attention to just some other aspects of your fine speech and its fine precepts. One is that you wanted a society, meaning that government's responsible for society as well as society, that everyone has the potential to reach to whatever aspiration they aspire to. Now I say to you that you cannot possibly fulfill those words, because you are already in very high office, the highest in the land. But if your words have meaning, you will have the discernment and courage to allow someone at the very bottom of the ladder to rise to the very top of the ladder. Then your words will have reached fulfillment, because the aspiration that I seek, again I stress, not for my own personal vanity, but for the three reasons I gave in the previous talk of what they can do for Christianity, for the Queen, and for the British people. That is my aspiration. That is where I wish to rise to prominence. One of the other aspects of your maiden speech to the Conservative Party is that at the bottom of that very fine list of aspirations that you wanted the government to achieve for the British people is that you felt touched by a scene in the Paralympics when two brothers were in that race and one nearly collapsed close to the finishing line, and his other brother came and dutifully and touchingly carried forth his brother to the finishing line. And that scene was very touching for us all to observe and be glad and proud of. Now, I'm going to write to you a letter, Prime Minister, where you can do the very same for me and for our family, in the likeness of what that brother did for his other brother, which touched you so much on a personal level. I hope to offer you the same opportunity, Prime Minister, where you can be seen before the entire British people as the one Prime Minister who looked upon me with compassion and kindness and offered me the opportunity to have a fair hearing, which is what I'm using those two brothers as a metaphor for you to come and help me when I'm getting so close to the finishing line. The finishing line in my life and the life of our family, to mitigate the terrible tragedy of the death of our beloved mother, in which we ask not for any form of retribution, certainly not, or any form of compensation, because at the time the Lord did not protect our dear mother from this abuse. And we cannot go back in time for historical abuses such as other people have canvassed for, and they rightly canvassed it because they were just. I'm canvassing to be heard for something which will mitigate our family tragedy on a level which doesn't directly benefit our family. It will benefit Christianity, the Queen, and the British people. But it has to be heard by Parliament. But I understand as a sensible man that would be too much to ask at this moment in time. But I'm asking you directly to consider conveying to the MP in Stratford-upon-Avon and say to the MP, give whatever assistance he can to the constituencies of Stratford-upon-Avon to examine my 55 years of dedication. And you said in that same speech that if a person has a vision, he ought to have the courage and dedication to see it through. Is a lifetime of 55 years sufficient dedication to see something through, Prime Minister? Is the death of our beloved mother sufficient sacrifice to inspire this vision of a greater Britain? And will you exercise in truth the same compassion that you felt would lord your words before the Conservative Party, for us to say what a fine person you are to be touched by that particular act? I say to you, that was too easy for you to do and for anyone to do. The challenge is whether you will have the courage and compassion to reply to me in a way which all the other Prime Ministers did not, and say, Mr. Darwood, we've heard your plea. You deserve a fair hearing because you committed your entire life to bring us this understanding. And I believe, or you rather, as a Prime Minister, is saying you have something to offer. For the moment, I will advocate that the MP in Stratford-upon-Avon do his utmost to facilitate accommodation or premises available so that I can hold meetings and put my vision to the people of Stratford-upon-Avon and let them decide to bring a representation to you, Prime Minister, that you can then give it to Parliament. And that is what I ask of you to consider, Mrs. May, if you would do this. You have the same lovely name as our dear mother. So I do hope you will consider this. Thank you.